y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Abby here. Welcome my goddesses, my human beings, my beautiful whatever you guys are. I am here for women empowerment, spiritual growth, lifestyle. So welcome back if you are old here, and if you are new here, welcome initially to the channel. This is Goddessing Universally. My name is Abby, and I'm here to really empower and bring light to your life and knowledge. Sometimes the biggest difference in change of perspective has everything to do with just a piece of knowledge and the way someone delivers it. So I know that I have my own unique way of delivering things, and I'm just here to give you my knowledge, my perspective based on my experience and how I've learned. So today we're going to be talking about handling insecurity. Everyone has insecurities about something. It is something that none of us have lived a life without. It's just something that's pretty normal. To this day, I still get insecure about things. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's very human. But I would say that the more you do your inner work and the more that you evolve, the less that insecurities really show up and the less they bother you. And the less they have control over your behavior and the way that your energy is. It's okay to have something pop up and to feel something, but it's different when you let it control who you are, what you're doing, and how you act and how you feel. Although I have them, I've mastered in my own level, in my own sense, how to not let it ruin things in my life or to impact me for long periods of time and affect my overall character and the way that I show up. One of the biggest acts of self-love here that also this channel is about self-love, okay? And one of the biggest acts of self-love, I say this a lot about a lot of things, but it's also showing up even when you feel insecure. Sometimes we're gonna feel insecure and it's just our job to show up anyway and be willing to do the work. So I'm here to help you guys do that work and to shift your perspective. First part of handling insecurities is understanding that everyone has them. Even people who look like they don't have insecurities. So I think just making it something that is humanized and taking it off the pedestal and making it seem like some people make it seem like it's something that only low vibrational people have, or people who are unevolved, or you're dumb, or just like some people make it seem like this thing that if you have insecurities, you must be like just this weird, awful, like you're not evolved, you're not a woman, you're not high value if you have insecurities. No, you could still be high value. You could still be an evolved, smart, intelligent, beautiful, good-hearted person and still have insecurities. You could be the most perfect person and you're still gonna have an insecurity now and again. And now these insecurities can be based on appearance, or they can be based on internally, or it can be based on a circumstance. There's many kinds of insecurities that have to do with different things in life, but these all kind of apply to all of them. So there are times I don't feel them or notice, and times that I do more. So especially for women, our hormones tend to shift, and sometimes when our hormones shift, the way that we see, perceive, feel things is really dramatic. So give yourself some grace. Even if you are someone who partakes in birth control or anything like that, you're still experiencing bodily changes. You know what I'm saying? We all do. So be graceful with yourself. Sometimes an insecurity is not as real or important as we think it is. Sometimes it pops up and it's super temporary. So before you react or make it something that's a big deal, maybe just give it 24 hours, give it a week, and it might just go away. That's like a big thing for me. Sometimes we don't need to do all this healing or inner work. Sometimes we just have to accept we feel a certain way for a little bit and it'll pass, you know, this too shall pass. With other ones, sometimes it's a more deeper rooted thing where we have to work on maybe something that was said to us in the past, a trauma, or maybe a conditioning we grew up on, like what life's supposed to look like, what we are supposed to look like, and it can be the root of some of our insecurities. Other insecurities might have to do with traumas, with relationships and how we feel inside. And those things, it's really good to get into therapy, inner work, spiritual healing, or coaching to kind of learn how to not limit yourself with your past. That's something that I personally work on with people. So if you ever want to work with me, just contact me through here, my social media, or my email, and I will get back to you. Of dealing with insecurities is really just being aware of them. Being it is the first part in healing because you're noticing it. I think having that level of awareness is very healing in itself, and just being able to be like, you know what? Yeah, I feel that way about it. Does it make me less of a human being? The next part is just accepting it. Being like, okay, when you accept something and you take the power away from it, you make it seem normal and you extend grace to it. You're like, okay, I feel like this, but it's not the end of the world, you know, and you have an internal dialogue that kind of helps you move through the insecurity and not give it too much power over you. Be like, there's a million other things that I am beautiful and good at, this isn't the end of the world. This isn't the make or break for who I am and how much love I deserve. Sometimes an insecurity comes from a place of not feeling enough and not feeling worthy. So it's really important when you feel insecurities to focus on where you do feel enough and really use your worth in some areas to challenge that area of lack of worth and be like, does this insecurity really mean that I don't deserve this, or I'm not worthy of this? And like work on that and really shift your perspective to like, it's okay for me to not be the most beautiful or the best at this, the best at that, the best in the room at this. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be this perfect human being to have worth, to be worthy of love, to be worthy of safety, all the things that are really important. But sometimes I think our insecurities are tied to that. Like we won't be secure. Insecurity, we don't feel safe. And sometimes when we trace it back to that feeling of not feeling safe and we focus on safety, we focus on affirming and our worth and where we do deserve love, which is completely, when we focus on feeling worthy in times of insecurity is the medicine for that. And you can do this through journaling, affirmations. If you have someone safe to talk about this with, like talk about your lack of worth, make sure it's someone safe because sometimes that could easily backfire. It's good to talk about it with people that you really trust. Work through those emotions of not feeling worthy. Come to a place where you can kind of feel a little better than you did before. I think actually reasoning with yourself is a huge thing when dealing with insecurities. When it comes to insecurities too, I know this isn't gonna be everyone's jam, but looking at it, is it something you can fix? If it's something like in your lifestyle, if you don't like the way you feel, maybe you do overindulge in food and it does have you gaining weight. There's nothing wrong with having weight. There's nothing wrong with being heavier. I would just say when it comes to health, that's really important to focus on. So if it's something that affects your health, I always recommend to try to do the healthiest thing. Depending on your goals, if you want to have a long life, you should probably prioritize health. It all depends on what your values are, what your goals are, and if you're someone who wants to have a long, healthy life, then if you're not feeling really good while you're, overindulging and you're gaining weight and your health doesn't feel great, that is something you can actually work on. So when it's something I can actually work on, I don't feel insecure about it. If it's a character trait, if I feel like, man, I don't like the way I feel based on how my mindset is or how I behaved in this situation, good news is it's something that I can work on and fix. If it has to do with my appearance, right? And this is where this can get out of hand. I'm not against work being done, cosmetic stuff. There's a level of cosmetic stuff that I feel like I would be willing to get done, as far as like maybe some microblading. That's something that I'm looking into for the future. Just putting that out there to, lessen the shame around this. There's no shame in it, but it depends on where it's coming from. If you're doing it in a way that feels disempowering, it's not going to help you much. But let's just say, okay, for example, my eyebrows, they're a little lighter than this. I have really full eyebrows, but they're really light, so they don't exactly have the definition that I like. That is something I easily fix. I put makeup on every day. It makes me feel good. I feel empowered when I have it on. Eventually, I will go get my eyebrows microbladed, and that is like something that will make me feel empowered. there's no point in being super stressed and feeling bad about something that you can go and do something about. So that's something that I feel, but if it's something that puts your health in jeopardy and it's dramatic, maybe tap into that inner work first before you go do something you might regret to your body. That's the only thing I'll say. I am totally for people doing what they want, because we're all on our own journey. Potentially put you at risk or be a health risk or be something that you're not 100% confident in because it's coming from a place of not feeling enough. It's good to just do the inner work and see if there's something within you can heal first before you make a decision. I like to make decisions from a healthy and sound place when it comes to my well-being and anything that could affect my health. So putting time and effort into things that you feel insecure about, even if it's something that you cannot change, if it is something you cannot change, there is still a choice in things you can control. Like, there is a level of inner work you can do. There is a level of affirming yourself. There is a level of having a perspective change that will actually serve you. And there is a way to shift that and feel secure in that insecurity. It really is all about perspective, because I used to think that having long legs looked weird, okay? This is just one little example. I used to think having long legs looked really funny. And I was like, oh, I always liked girls that had shorter legs and just looked really cute, thick, short legs, whatever. I have really long, slender legs, okay? And I do have a medium, thick body shape. So, but before, especially before I've come to where I am now, I used to look at it and not like it. There was a level of me that didn't like it. I was like, oh, I feel like a giraffe. And this probably came from somebody in school at some point making a joke or calling me that. And for another example, well, let me finish this. When I started looking at my legs and seeing them for the beauty that they were and not comparing them, it became something that went from an insecurity, which in this lesson that I learned from another YouTuber, I'll have to drop her name in the description. She's wonderful. I think her name is Alexis. I really love her. I do watch her. I just started watching her though. This is fairly recent, so this isn't someone that I've watched way back when. But she's really great. She talked about making things you're insecure about go from a liability, something that you might buy things to cater around, or kind of not love about yourself, sabotage yourself, putting yourself down and stuff, and taking that and changing your perspective to make it an asset. And when I started to realize there's actually plenty of people who wish they had long legs, and I started to see through their eyes how beautiful it was to have long legs. When I started to see how beautiful it was from the perspective of people that really wish they had it, it started to make me really see wow, having longer, slender, it is really beautiful. There's nothing not beautiful about one or the other. They're just different. And depending on what trend was going on or how things were going during different time periods, different things look beautiful. So it's really important to look at who you are and see the beauty in it without comparing it. Because obviously if you compare two different things, they're not comparable. You're not gonna be able to, it's like me comparing a starfish to a sea turtle, okay? They are completely different. They have their own beauty that cannot be replicated by the other one. And if it tried, it would just not be authentic to its own beauty. So when I really started to look at I am a different creature than other people. And the fact that I looked different in my own way actually gives me my whole own new beauty and vibe that cannot be replicated. There's other people that wish they look like me, so why is there any point in comparing? And it's the same, so with, the example of the one that you can fix, but also, it was my teeth. I got called horse teeth, made fun of my whole childhood for my teeth because my teeth were just crooked and I had jaw problems. I still have jaw problems. And my teeth moved around and they kind of stuck out a little bit. They still kind of stick out a little, but not as bad as they used to. And I actually think they're pretty cute, but it was something that I could actually go and fix. So I went and got braces. That was something that I could easily fix. They're not crooked anymore, but I always got made fun of for having big teeth, and I still have big teeth. And for a while I was a little insecure about how big my teeth were, but once I got them straight, and I was like, okay, you know what, I like these, but they're still pretty big. I have pretty big goofy teeth. But then when I started looking at it a lens oh, big teeth are actually a sign of health. it's, you know, having a big smile. And like I started to realize like I have teeth that look really similar to the big teeth that people get with veneers. And it's just seeing how like people will shame beauty, but then the beauty trends change. So it's like there's no point in getting caught up on one form of beauty, one look, because it's always changing. If you're always looking for yourself to be beautiful based on the external standards, you're never gonna add up. It's just not possible. And when I started just seeing myself as beautiful and unique and my own creature, regardless of the beauty changes, I find I only do things for myself that feel authentic and beautiful to me and enhance my beauty without basing it on what everyone else is doing. And that's where I feel the most beautiful, and when I really cater to my own sense of beauty rather than other people's. And oh, and the other thing I was gonna say, so I've always had like pretty big lips. Like my lips aren't huge, but they've been like always pretty well defined. I have a really big mouth, and that's just like, you know. But when I was growing up, big lips were not in. They were not. When I was in school, little lips, the tiny little lips. There was even like these little lips on online on Tumblr, Pinterest, that the little tiny heart scene girl lips, like they were just really tiny and slender. I didn't fit into that. That was like what was cool then. I got made fun of for having big lips. I was called a lot of things for having big lips. And then what do you know? I become an adult, and now all of a sudden everyone's getting lip filler. And okay, I don't have like that from the side, like lip filler pout. I've never had any lip injections, by the way. These are natural. But it used to be something I was a little insecure about. I was like, oh, I wish I had like those thin little cute lips. When anything's cool, you kind of put it on a pedestal, and anything that doesn't look like that doesn't look appealing, and it looks ugly. So comparison really is the thief of joy, because at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, this is cool now, so I like it. But then I'm like, you know what? Regardless of how cool it is, my lips fit my face. They fit my face, they complement my face. It's what God gave me. And I believe when you really reaffirm in your mind, the more that I used to hate myself, the more that my face looked crazy. So the more that I actually affirm, like, I look the way I'm supposed to, and I really like reaffirm what I like about myself, it becomes something that just looks and makes sense on my face, and it doesn't feel like anything I need to change. So, and really appreciating my youth. And I think about often, I'm like, you know what, this is the youngest I'll ever be. And I would look back on pictures when I'm older and I'd be like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna look back on my pictures and wish that I got more Botox or lip filler, you know what I'm saying? Or changed myself more. I'm gonna be like, wow, look how beautiful, young, and radiant that girl is. Like, looking back on myself. And if I were to change too much about myself, I know I'd be like, wow, I wish it would be painful to look back on. I'd be like, why didn't I value myself the way that I was? I tried to like meditate on different perspectives that really helped me. Take anything that feels like a liability, something that you hate about yourself, you destroy yourself about, and find ways that it actually makes you cute and unique, and find other people that look like that. Because I find when I see other people that kind of look like me, I'm like, wow, damn, they're really cute. They're cute. The only time I've ever felt like I wasn't enough is when I was comparing myself to someone that looked nothing like me. Because it's not attainable. And just like I would compare to myself that looks nothing like me, it's like I wouldn't compare to someone that looks like me because we look alike, you know what I'm saying? And if someone's like, that was beautiful, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm beautiful. But just because something else looks different than you doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. And if anything, it means you're actually stunningly beautiful, and so are they, because you guys have this such different beauty. And I think when you can just appreciate that, it actually makes yourself feel pretty rare and different and beautiful too in your own whole way. And yeah, so I've learned to appreciate my naturally looking beauty. My face looks really normal to me, but when I see people's faces from different, like, I realize how different I look sometimes. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But that's only because you compare. But it's like, don't let that take away from your beauty. Also, I have psoriasis on my elbows, right? I have these patches, and sometimes I get insecure about those things, right? I can't control that though. So I like to kind of look at it as like, I have like these cute little patches, little birthmarks, and it's just cute, you know what I'm saying? And the more that you kind of look at something and it's like, oh, I can see how that's cute, it becomes cute to you. So, you know, word. If it is something that's a part of who you are, the goal is always to love it, okay? And also, it's not even just about love, it's about acceptance. I think when you accept something for the way it is, it becomes something that you have an acquired taste to. So like, you might not like something about yourself, but if you were to just like, for example, I never saw my nose before from the side, so I never really see myself like at certain angles. And one time I saw it and I was like, I didn't know like what to think about it, you know, until someone's like, you have like the most perfect nose. And I'm like, I really didn't feel that way the first time I looked at it. I don't really feel anything for my nose. Like, I don't feel like it's cute, but I don't feel like it's ugly. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's a nose. So it's kind of like, you know, you don't have to love it. You just accept it. I'm not like, oh my God, what a beautiful nose. I think the prettiest things about me are my eyes and my lips and my teeth, like my smile and my eyes. But that's like kind of like radiates my soul too. So is it really the physical features or is it my energy? I don't know. But I would say hair, eyes, and mouth are key for me. Okay. I just like to, I really just like to look like this. This is like my goal here every time. But yeah, the goal is to either love it or accept it to a point where you're indifferent. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's not bad. It's not bad to be indifferent about way things look or way things feel. You know what I'm saying? Not everything has to be like, oh, I have to absolutely love this about myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good to love enough about yourself, but like, it's okay to also be indifferent. Like, I'm indifferent about this. I could live without it, but I also have to live with it. And it's like, it's cute while it's here. I can't do anything about it. I feel indifferent. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass. Sometimes I can see the beauty in it. Sometimes I don't notice it for like 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Again, I already said this, trace back where you learn certain things. Sometimes it really was just conditioning, like someone made a comment in school or you saw someone get bullied over something in a movie and all of a sudden you're like rethinking your whole life. Really pay attention to maybe what the culture was like while you're growing up. There's things that were planted in our head as children that have nothing to do with what the reality is now. So remember that. Always extend gratitude to yourself. Sometimes we put a lot of shame and pressure on our bodies to look and be and feel a certain way, and that's on the like physical level. And sometimes even in society, there's a lot of perfectionist energy out there, and sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be these perfect human beings inside and out, and it's just not attainable. And I would say like, always be willing to grow when it comes to the internal world, but as you grow, whether it's physically or internally, always extend gratitude to yourself for being a resilient living being. Like, your body, the fact that we do all the extra stuff we do outside of just eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom, and finding shelter, like, we're mammals. Like, that's what we originally did when things weren't like this. So it's the fact that we are so resilient and our bodies do what they do and we are so aware. It's like, it's really crazy how our body functions. Our heart, our lungs, our organs do so much for us to keep us alive every day. And like, everything on our body serves a beautiful purpose. And it's really good to extend gratitude towards those things and thank your body for being there for you. And that's something that's really helped me heal from a lot, is to really extend gratitude to the way my mind works, to the way my body works, and extend compassion, because like nowadays, I'm just saying, like, we have shelter, we have food, we have beauty, cosmetics, all this stuff. We probably look better and are cleaner than we've ever been in history. So just remember that, and remember our bodies are not supposed to look like action figures. Like, we are actual living, breathing creatures that are here to like live life. We're here to experience, and we don't have to feel perfect and look perfect while doing it. And actually, some of my most insecure moments were the moments that I had the most deep, profound insights, changes. Really, when you look at life of like, I'm not supposed to feel 100% confident all the time, and you look at like the highs and the lows as equal experiences, it doesn't really matter when they happen, because it's like, this is just part of the flow, and I know I will learn something from this, and it is just part of my experience, and I will be back to where I was meant to be after this is over. It's just gonna keep flowing. Sometimes you just have to let things pass, like I said in the beginning of the video. But this is video 1 in my femininity series on handling insecurities. I hope this helped. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment and tell me what you think. Share it with a friend if you feel like he or she could use this today. And I hope everyone has a beautiful week.